Hey everybody, welcome back to Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
And we are here once again, Mary, in the garden. Sitting in the garden. We are physically, no we're not.
We may
physically
as well
sitting
be.
on the ground, in the dirt, in the garden.
Ooh, that's my favorite place.
That would be, you know what, that would be a little challenging, but we could try it. We'll figure it out.
We could try it.
Yeah.
I believe we will.
I think we could do it.
I think you could do anything you set your mind to.
Thank you. Well, what's going on?
Well, what's new in the garden this week, Jeff?
I was just going to ask you that, Mary.
Yeah?
What is new in the garden?
Should we talk about the weather?
You know, we got to talk about it's ridiculous. When did we become 108? Let's talk about the weather.
Let's talk about the weather.
All right. Weather, it was cool. We had some cool days. Had actually a cold day.
Yes.
Or two. And then now we're heating back up.
We have had lovely, lovely weather. It's been just superb. Really has.
It has.
Mm-hmm.
It has been nice. It's been nice. And it's been nice to get out into before the intense heat comes. So it's been easy to get out in.
I think the birds are enjoying it. Mm-hmm. I know the dogs are enjoying it.
They are. They are.
And we've been enjoying it as well.
Absolutely.
So that's our recap on the weather.
That's the weather.
For the week.
That's the weather, folks. You come right here just for the weather report.
Just for the weather.
What else you got? What do you got? What's new, Mary?
What did you think about that yard day yesterday?
It was a fun yard day. We had our Tuesday yard day.
Yeah.
Got the lawn mowed.
Which looks
nice.
stunning.
It's really greened. It's greened up a lot.
It is. It looks like a beautiful carpet.
You know what? It looks good this year. I gotta tell you, that's only mow number 2, and it's looking pretty darn good.
Getting excited.
But we got out. We got out there for quite a while, and you were doing some stuff. What were you doing out there?
Oh, I trimmed back some of our southern wax myrtle.
Mm-hmm.
That plant, I have like a back and forth relationship with it. It smells so good while you're working with it. I just love it. But it does send out runners. It roots out away from itself. Mm-hmm. So you always have to be. I have one particular little patch in the garden that I fight it every year. It wants to just move everything out of its way. And I don't know why, but it always wants to grow uphill.
Oh.
It never really goes down into the pineapple guava that we have growing.
Interesting.
It always just wants to decapitate your roses.
I think it's challenging. It's calling you. Hey, Mary, come out, see what you got.
But it provides such good habitat for the birds. It's a really good food source. And it smells great while you're working with it. It smells beautiful.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Kind of spicy.
Oh, okay.
A little bit spicy.
Okay.
Wow. Did you see any interesting wildlife this week?
We saw, so we were getting ready to do the yard, and our friend, the Roadrunner, came right past.
Wow.
right past me.
You were going, Mary, come over here.
Guy.
Come here. And
he
I was
went right
shocked
past. I know.
that
wasn't
he
scared.
stayed there. No, he wasn't scared.
No, he jumped on the fence, looked at us, jumped off, and he went meep meep. No, he didn't.
he did put his little red feathers up a little bit on top of his head and looked around.
He did.
For a while.
It was cool. I love seeing him. It's kind of a cool.
You got several
thing.
pictures.
Got some pictures of him. And then he went down to the next house and continued his hunting. I believe
that was crazy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun though. It was kind of cool.
He's our friend.
He was a friend, and we I know you did some other gardening stuff that I think you're going to talk about, but you actually got me doing some stuff too. You had me out there after mowing the lawn.
Did.
You had me doing a few things, so I like it.
A few fun things, kind of fun.
A few fun things. It was fun.
Yep.
I kind of like this. We did the potatoes and the onions together, and those things are coming to us kind of cool looking.
Wow.
Watch them come up.
We saw a bumblebee. I'm I don't know how big he was. He had to be like 2 inches.
It was.
Do you
It was
think?
a cool one. No, it was a cool bumblebee, and we don't.
He was
I
huge.
don't remember growing up here in Texas seeing them that much.
Mm-mm.
They're always something I used to see up north.
Mm-hmm. Now that is interesting.
Up in the Northeast. I used to see them a lot, but I don't remember seeing them. I remember seeing obviously regular bees, but here in the last couple of years, 2-3 years, I've seen a lot of the bumblebees, which are cool. They're really cool to watch, and they'll let you get close up too and take pictures or whatever. But they're pretty cool.
He was so interesting because his legs had these huge, big chunks of pollen that he had already gathered, and he was visiting the flowers on the potatoes, which was great.
That is good. So at some point, we're going to have some potatoes, folks.
I think we will.
I don't know when. I asked Mary, when are these things done? And you told me you could actually pull them. You can have new potatoes, or you can wait till they're a little older.
Right.
Yeah.
Generally, I think that the plant will bloom like it's doing right now, and then the leaves will begin to dry down and brown. Mm-hmm. And I think that's your cue to
pull them out,
dig the potatoes.
All right, I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
We'll see. We have our onions growing in there.
Onions are growing good. Yep.
We've been getting just salads every day. I have lettuces, Swiss chard. Oh my goodness. The rainbow chard is just beautiful. And what else do I have growing in there? We did have a lot of arugula that was growing. I don't know if you're an arugula fan or not. I love it.
Not really.
No.
But those garlics we put in there have actually taken off.
I know.
And those are garlics we bought to use, and then we realized they were growing in the bag. Yeah. So we put them out there.
So we kind of split them apart and planted them.
They're actually they're doing pretty good.
I even had a couple that I shared with a neighbor.
Oh boy. Yes, you did. I forgot. That is what you shared. Yeah. Nice. Very good.
And we have some yard-long beans that are getting started up all by themselves again. I'm very happy to see that. And,
No, I was going to say things are blooming out there. Things are going crazy out there.
We have Thai basil. I planted Thai basil one time years and years ago now, and it comes every year. And it's beautiful. I love the purple flowers and it's gorgeous. I'm very excited about it. We have a bumper crop of Thai basil beginning to come up.
Done a good job out there. Doing good. It's looking good. So far, so good.
Oh, and the lettuces have been delicious. So good. And red leaf lettuce too. And I do think I have some romaine lettuce heads that are beginning to form that elongated. It's not a bulb. I don't know. What would you call it? Crown, maybe? I don't know. Where it looks sort of like an oval. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that is starting to form out there too.
It's a veritable garden out there.
Oh, it's so lovely.
I like it. What else you got?
Any favorite plant that you have blooming?
I'm the rose guy, so I'm waiting for my roses to come out. I like those. Oh
my goodness, they are
starting to bloom.
They are starting to bloom.
I do like to watch them bloom, and I like them. Couple of reasons. One, I like looking at them, but the other, they just seem to last forever. Even if they kind of, the bloom's over, they come right back. So I like them. They're fun to have.
Well, I have started to do Howard Garrett is the dirt doctor in our neck of the woods. And I think he's in North Texas. Anyway, if you look him up, the dirt doctor, he has a treatment that you can apply on your roses. And so I am bound and determined that I'm going to do everything I can to keep our roses healthy. Oh, I have taken out like 5 plants already, but I'm following Dr. Garrett's advice, and you can find his sick tree treatment and rosette treatment on his blog, howardgarrettthedirtdoctor.com. And I'm going great guns for that. I'm just going all out.
And we even bought some Garrett juice, which is just funny.
Bought the Garrett juice,
and I think they sell it in a lot of the
nurseries
here in Texas. So yeah,
so that's wonderful.
Okay.
Our daughter spotted a bird, and she came to us and she was so excited. She said, "Mom, you're not going to believe what I saw on the bird feeder." And it was a
red-winged blackbird.
Red-winged blackbird.
Which I hadn't seen that, but it's pretty cool looking.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, we get a lot of blackbirds, but I haven't seen that one. We're getting a lot of birds.
We're getting
they are killing me on the feeders. Good grief.
I know. The minute you look up, it's already eaten.
I know. I fill them up, and then I think that night and that morning, I look out there, I was like, oh my gosh, it's done.
Oh, no.
But they're fun. I like doing it, and we've had a lot of birds this year so far, so it's been kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah, and the bird bunny has been a lot of fun.
Bird bunny's still good, folks.
Yeah.
We're not paid sponsors on that one, but no, I will say it is a really cool product. And it's kind of neat that we, like, even if we're out running around, we'll get a notification. Like, hey, Mary, look, we got a such and such bird just came by, and it does a fairly good job of identifying them too. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool product still. We still like it.
We still like it.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, we talked about on Jeff's Corner recently, you talked about Cornell.
I did.
Classes.
The Cornell Lab Bird Academy.
The Bird Academy.
And I did. We saw some really cool classes out there. And we went ahead and took the plunge.
I'm so glad you did that.
And there's a lot of classes out there. And I think it was last time. And I tell you, so we went and signed up for I signed up for 2 classes, but they had a free one. So now we have 3 classes.
Oh, nice.
So the free class was Be a Better Birder, part 1, size and shape.
Oh.
So we have that one out there waiting for us. The other one was the one I was interested in, on how to record bird sounds. Mm-hmm. We signed up for that one, and we're getting that together and trying to go through it. And the third one was the one I said I knew you would be interested in as well, is nature journaling and field sketching. Which we started. We started our first sketch. It's really cool. And the thing about them is it just kind of makes you slow down.
Yeah.
And kind of just take your mind off of other things, and you can just get your sketchbook out, and nobody cares how good it is. It's really yours.
It's yours.
And the course is really cool. It kind of shows you how you organize it, gives you a material list. And we've only gone through, the first part of it, so we're nowhere near towards the end of it. But so far, so good. We each drew a bird, and it's kind of fun. I have
not answered the questions yet. I need to go back and answer the questions and get a little more detail. But what this was a beginning, so that later in the course, when you finish and you can look back and compare what you are able to do at the end of the course with where you started, you're going to see a lot of progress.
Yeah, it's fun. I think it's going to be a fun course, and it's kind of a cool thing. Like I said, you can take, in all honesty, you could take 30 minutes out of your day and just whenever you're available, and just sit and look out, and if it's, whether it's bird, animal, plants, flowers, whatever.
Right.
Just sit down and do a quick sketch and just take some time for yourself. So I think it's a good thing.
I do too.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool.
And I really like the instructor. She's very approachable.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
We're liking it. So we did take the plunge.
3 thumbs up.
So we told you guys about it, and then we actually jumped in. So
we talked about this a long time.
We did.
So
we'll keep you guys updated on how we go through the courses, and let you know how they're going.
Yes.
Very good.
Bully for you for putting us in there.
Very cool. Nice.
Anything else?
I think for our what's in the garden and our up to date, I think I'm pretty good. I know you have our topic of the day.
I do.
And what might that be, Mary?
Well, as we were doing our yard work, I wanted to plant out one of our little veggie beds in the backyard. And last year I had thrown out arugula seeds, wild rocket, which is an arugula. And as I was cutting everything down, there was a plant that I've seen forever, but I've never known exactly what it was, which I am going to describe to everyone. But I yanked up this plant and took a photo of it and used my iNaturalist app on my phone to identify it. And I was so surprised. It came back that this plant is called Peppergrass.
Mm-hmm.
And it is an edible plant that grows native all across North America and, in different forms. It has different subcategories. And the one that it identified as growing in our yard is called Lepidium virginicum.
Okay.
And so basically, it has another common name called poor man's pepper.
Okay.
If you stop to think about it, we don't grow pepper like pepper doesn't grow abundantly everywhere here in our country. And this plant has a peppery, sweet flavor that people have used to spice their foods for a very long time. I was so surprised.
That's interesting.
And it is interesting, right? And so I do have a sample here that I'm kind of holding out to Jeff a little bit. Before I didn't really take time to research it while I was actually in the garden. And so it's kind of dried down a little bit right now. But it's a very interesting plant. It goes back into antiquity that it has been used. It's actually a member of the same family that is like kale, broccoli, and mustard greens. It's very closely associated to the mustard side of the brassicas.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of people use watercress in sandwiches. Well, here we are. We're not living very close to water. We don't usually grow watercress, but this is like a form of that same flavor. It's a different species, watercress is, but this would also make a delicious sandwich. The leaves are edible. They're not they're not large leaves. It would take a number of leaves, but for flavoring, it could flavor a sandwich. You can eat the roots, and people use the roots to make a form of a horseradish type sauce.
Interesting.
Very peppery and spicy.
Okay.
And then the main part that people eat is the little seeds.
Oh, okay.
And so if you hold the plant close to you and look at the seeds, Jeff.
Oh, yeah.
Let me see. Here, I'm trying to hold it out to him. So I'm getting away from the microphone.
No, stay there. Yeah.
They sort of have a tiny little shape like a lentil bean, kind of a rounded form.
That is cool.
And what the plant does is it sends up it kind of grows like a rosette at the base, and it sends up a stalk or a stem, and it will form a flower in what's called a raceme.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned a new word.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
See that?
I know. So a raceme is where you have separate flowers and they radiate in a little pattern away from the stem, but each one of them is on a little stalk that's exactly equidistant.
Interesting.
And so it'll start the flowering process, and then it continues flowering as it goes taller and taller, and the little seed pods form behind it, and that's what people use as a pepper substitute while they're green. That will give you the best flavor.
Okay.
And they're supposed to be they have like a little sweet flavor early when you start to eat them, but they gain in spiciness as you chew on them or, as you eat them. And so it was described as having, a lightly sweet with a spicy afternote and a little bit of like your mustard family flavor, that zingy, radishy flavor to it. Bill, that's the family that they're in. Yeah. I had no idea.
No.
They are nutritious.
That is, and the whole thing is basically edible, which is crazy.
Yes. Okay. They have vitamins A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and some iron as well. And so the name Lepidium comes about because the little seed pods have a resemblance to fish scales. And that's what it's describing.
Okay.
In that name. So, these plants it depends on your climate and the coldness. Like I said, they grow everywhere. Some people do not view them very appreciatively. And I, not knowing anything about them, I didn't know anything about them before. And I know that I have pulled them quite a while.
They look kind of weedy, to be honest with you.
They look a little weedy. Yeah. But the thing of it is that these plants, I'm not going to go chow down on, They were in a part of the flower garden where I was just sort of doing a cover crop grow. So that's been cleared away now, cut down and cleared away. And I did find a source for actual seeds. And I think that's a good thing to do. If you're going to eat them, like for myself, I'm going to try to find a seed source and plant it so I know exactly what's coming up.
Right.
But anyway, after that, you could save your own seeds. The one thing about these plants that's very, very interesting is if you want to have your own dried flower arrangements later in the year, you could come along and cut the plants and dry them upside down, and you have a form of similar to a baby's breath. Well, I was going back to what I was saying, that depending on where they are being grown, they'll either be an annual or they might turn into a biennial.
Oh, okay.
And so that would be that they'll grow their rosette and their leaves. As a biennial, they'll grow 1 year, and then the following year they'll bloom.
Oh.
So,
did not know that.
Like for our climate, what you might do is plant every year some seeds, or they'll reseed themselves too. And that way, when they come up, you'll have a flower stem every year.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Well, they'll actually produce multiple flower stems out of the main plant too. They could get quite bushy. And they could be like 18 to 24 inches tall.
Oh, wow.
And about 18 inches wide at maturity. And
well, actually, they're probably close to 18 inches right there.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So what it is like in our cold winters, when the arugula likes to grow, arugula and cilantro, and there are a lot of greens that really like that time of year for us. That's when these are going to shine and do their best in our cooler weather.
Nice.
And they'll probably, disappear sort of during the real, real hot and then come back out again. So they might be an annual in our area. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
But either one, they're very hardy, and they do like to grow kind of in ground that's kind of high and dryish. So, but ours have been getting just the same water as everything else. No care given to it or anything. They
we didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we didn't know. But I did know about the wild rocket that was growing in there with it. So I knew that and the larkspur has been growing there too. Anyways, you can take these little bitty seeds and you strip them off, and you could grind them to be a spice in your cabinet.
Oh, wow.
Although you'll get the best flavor from the green pods rather than the dry pods. But if you don't have access to pepper, that's, a good
That's really interesting.
spice.
Yeah.
They can be used in sandwiches, salads, stews, or to put on meat or vegetables when you're roasting them. There's a lot of different things that you could do. And you could make a cream cheese, and the leaves of this would be like a cream cheese and cress salad spread for sandwiches.
Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of
That's pretty
very cool. And they are a very useful plant for your wildflower. Remember, we were talking about the pocket prairie because that's what they're for. I mean, that's how they've grown in nature. The interesting thing is most of your cattle people don't really care for it, because when the cows eat this plant, and I think they like it.
Yeah.
It will actually flavor the milk.
Oh, wow.
So
that's interesting.
They tend to not really care for that.
Okay.
But I thought that was pretty interesting to read. So the flowers are quite pretty, but super tiny and very, very, very good pollinator plant. I think it deserves more attention.
Yeah.
And I think we might be giving it a try.
Isn't that interesting when you go out, you find stuff like, hey, what's this thing? That's
yes.
Considering, I mean, in our case, you've pretty much, we didn't have anything already there. You kind of grew stuff, but it's kind of funny how other stuff shows up.
I do have an idea that this probably came from the prairie seed mix that we
Oh, that's right. We did put that mix out. Yep, you're right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
And I did want to let people know that there is a source for peppergrass, Lepidium virginicum. And it is at the Native American Seed Company in New Braunfels, Texas. And you can find them at seedsource.com.
Oh, okay.
So that would be what I would do.
Yeah,
I would
agree with you there.
Grow it from an identified seed.
Well, yeah, then you know what you're growing.
Then you know what you're growing, right?
Very nice.
Super interesting.
It is interesting. That's pretty cool. Thank you. That's kind of a cool thing. It's really neat that the whole thing's edible. That's just that's nice. I like that. Good job.
Yay! And why did we clear that bed? This is what Jeff was referring to, that I had him busy. But this is a really fun activity.
Yeah.
I cleared out the bed, but I didn't turn the soil over or anything. I wanted to try to preserve all of the living roots and not living roots, because I cut it at the crown. I don't think it'll come back from the roots of the rocket arugula and this plant here. And we exposed some planting areas, and I had run across this little packet of seed from Renee's garden called the Native American Three Sisters.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Never have we ever tried to grow corn. We have never tried to grow corn. But we thought that we would give this a try. And so there is a legend, a lore, a story in traditional Native American culture about these plants growing together because they're three loving, supportive, and inseparable sisters.
Oh, the three sisters.
The three sisters. And actually, if you go to Renee's garden, they have an article called Celebrate the Three Sisters that you could read a little bit more about it.
Okay.
And so the three plants that we planted are Earth Tones Indian Dent Corn. And so this would be not your fresh eating corn. This would be corn that you would grind to make a cornmeal, or as well, you could use it for decorative purposes, because I think it's going to be multicolored, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that's cool.
We've never tried to grow corn before. I do think, if I remember correctly, corn is an interesting plant because it has a clock inside of itself, I believe. So it grows to a certain day length, maybe, and then it sets its ears and so forth. But anyway, I've got to do some more research on that. It's pretty interesting, though. And along with that, there's the rattlesnake bean.
Rattlesnake bean. Yep.
Which is a bean that grows to be a dried bean. You could harvest them from the shells after they get dry. And a sugar pie pumpkin.
The three sisters. So we have corn, bean, and pumpkin.
Yes.
Okay.
So the sugar pie, I think, is the baby sister, and she kind of crawls along the ground. And then the rattlesnake bean is like the medium sister, or the next oldest. And then the corn is the oldest sister, I believe.
Interesting.
So, and they support each other.
Yeah, that's cool.
So anyways.
Well, we're going to see how they grow. We planted them. We got them planted up.
And it definitely said right on the package that you have to put in a guard, so they won't come down there and harvest your seeds. So we I kind of did that. I tried.
The seeds are like, they're bigger seeds too, so you can kind of see how the birds would easily get those.
Yeah. We poked them down in the ground too, a little bit.
We did, but you did cover them, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's what I think.
That'll be fun to watch them come up.
But along with this, I wanted to tell all of our listeners that we did put up the squash vine borer trap.
You did,
according to the directions.
The old SVB.
B.
There you go. Okay.
The SVB. And I'm super excited to see how that works. And because the sugar pie pumpkin is definitely in the danger.
Oh, it's boreable.
Yeah, it's boreable. So anyways.
Yeah, we'll see see what that catches. It's open, so you can kind of look in there and see when it catches stuff.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think it'd be interesting to see. We've got a whole lot of stuff going on out in the old garden.
I love it. This spring, I have just thoroughly enjoyed the whole garden.
Nice.
I did plant a little plumbago in the front garden because a good friend of ours told us how her plumbago is inundated with bees and butterflies and everything. So we're going to give that a try.
We like to we're attractors. We like to attract them all. Bring them all to us. Critters, insects, whatever.
Well, we've been watching our game camera.
Nothing new on there.
Nothing new.
We'll keep an eye on
it. I'm so thankful and pleased to announce nothing new.
Nothing new. Not that we've seen. Guys.
Jeffrey, I was wondering.
Is it time? Is it time?
Is it time?
Hey, welcome to Jeff's Corner here at Mary Bird's Backyard Garden. Oh, man, I got applause. So, you know what? You and I were driving around not too long ago, and we were talking about a victory garden. You remember that we were just kind of discussing it? So I thought it would be interesting to say, let me do a little G2 work, as we say, on the victory garden.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah. So, just a little background on it. So, the Victory Gardens, they were also known as war gardens, and it was basically vegetables, fruits, and herb gardens planted by civilians during times of war. In particular, World War I and World War II. And so, the goal was really to boost food production to support the war effort, and we were asking people to basically supplement at home with the victory gardens. So the idea of the Victory Garden was popularized during World War One by government agencies, and it wasn't just here; it was in the UK as well. And there was a concern in World War One over food shortages, and the government encouraged everyone to grow their own produce to help conserve resources for the people that were at war. So the term Victory Garden wasn't quite termed yet in World War One, but the idea of self-sufficiency was definitely widespread.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I think of it, I don't think of. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think of World War One. I thought of World War Two, and it actually became a little more formalized. And I think that's when it became. We had a name. There was a lot of propaganda that went out, public campaigns, ads, posters, and everything else. And it was really in particular, they wanted the folks at home to feel, like part of the war effort.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also a way for them to help because of food shortages. Yeah. So it encouraged people to grow foods in, wherever you were, backyard, vacant lot, community, rooftops, and urban areas. So this wasn't just out a rural thing. It was kind of all over the place. And it was really...
I did not know that.
Yeah, this is interesting. So it was important for, a few reasons. One, food security. During the war, food was obviously rationed and supplies were strained. So the gardens helped people supplement their food at home. It was there for morale, too, because it allowed people at home to kind of feel like, hey, I'm part of this effort as well, right? I'm doing something to contribute to the war effort. And they had a lot of efforts. I mean, the Victory Garden was one. I think, there were people who collected metal and tires and stuff as well. And then just economically, right? Growing your own food, you save money. You could grow potatoes, tomatoes, beans, things that were essential for your everyday meals. And so it really became a big thing in World War II. Now, I'll tell you a couple facts. I was pretty shocked by some of the facts, to be honest with you. So, 40% during in 1944. By 1944, 40% of the U.S. vegetables were consumed in the country. Were produced in by the Victory Gardens.
Oh my!
So
44%.
40% of all vegetables consumed in the country were Victory Gardens.
Wow! So
they were a major contributor. There were 20 million gardens during World War II.
Oh my goodness!
And it's pretty crazy. In the UK, they had a thing called Dig for Victory, which was a similar effort that they were doing as well, and it was just successful. They encouraged their citizens to convert gardens and places into, productive vegetable, places. A lot of propaganda. They called it the Garden Army. They had lots of stuff to encourage. And I know, well, even at this point, I mean, we know what it is, right? It was on radio shows and I like my old time radio shows. And you can, I've definitely heard some of the ads on there telling you to, participate in that. The key crops that were grown that were the most common were the potatoes, tomatoes, beans, carrots, peas, and cabbage.
Oh my!
Which are kind of staple foods, right, for people and families. It also increased home canning. A lot of folks started canning their own food at home. And so, we think of all that stuff, but that was, if you think about it, it makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. They're growing a lot in whatever space they had, and they probably had, you don't want it to spoil, so they were canning.
Right.
So after World War II, there was a decline in the Victory Garden part of it. However, gardening as a hobby, remained really popular, and the idea of self-sufficiency as well. So I think it kind of jump-started, kind of where we are.
Nice.
All the people is the interest in home gardening. It's had a little bit of resurgence in recent years, with self-sufficiency. And, we've seen a lot of that as well, too. They're obviously not calling it Victory Gardens, but, a lot of people are growing things at home. We've talked about it here on the podcast. you can go out and, you talk today, you can go out in the garden
it
and
is
bring
fun.
things in.
Yes.
So it's definitely made a comeback as far as that's concerned. But I thought it was interesting. I was shocked by the number, to be honest. I didn't, 40% of all vegetables
Wow.
were Victory, that were consumed in the country were from Victory Gardens. And then there were over 20 million gardens.
Wow.
That's just crazy.
And that is so wonderful. That's just.
Yeah, it's a really cool, it's a cool thing. And it was funny because you and I don't even know why we were driving and we talked about Victory Garden. And I thought I'd do
I think we heard a book. We listened to an audible thing about bookstores in America, and that was actually part of what was came out, the pamphlets or something about
they had pamphlets.
Gardens.
It's funny because when they had pamphlets on how to, the government put out pamphlets on how to do it, how to prevent, any kind of bugs or anything that could get in and destroy it. They had a whole thing. It was a very big effort.
Wow.
And to try and get everybody involved, and it worked. But I think during World War II, particularly, I think a lot of it was, everybody was pitching in, and I think this was just a really big way. Not only could they help themselves, but they could feel like they were helping the war effort as well. So there you go. There's the Victory V for Victory Gardens.
It is interesting, the history of what has shaped our garden.
It is, and I really think it kind of led to probably, let's be honest, 20 million people at the war ends, they 20 million gardens just don't go away.
No.
People continue to do them. And then I think as suburbanization, came into effect after World War II, more people had more space, and I think gardens were a thing. But anyway, it was very interesting. I think it kind of cool to go back and look at history on some of this stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, but that's what I had for Jeff's Corner.
Very nice.
Why, thank you.
Quite a good discussion.
Yeah. It's fun to look stuff up. That's why I like the podcast, because you and I both get to learn stuff too. So,
that's what I love about it too. Yeah.
So that's what I had. You have anything else today?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about what you are able to do this week in the garden. Now, this is really concentrated on our area, and we're not going to be in the cool season. We're headed straight into the hot. We're kind of in the warm season because we do still have cool nights, but we're, progressing towards the hot season. So there are plants that grow really well in the warmer weather. If you have transplants of tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, your squash and watermelons, things like that, this is the perfect time to get your transplants out. It's really too late to plant seeds. I'm planting seeds, but they say it's too late, but I do it anyway. But get ready to start thinking about how it's going to warm up to be a little too warm for some of the flowers in our area. You're sort of coming towards the end of your zonal geraniums. Your pansies are going to start. Our pansies have just been glorious this year. But, it's going to get warm and they're not going to fare very well. So you want to look ahead and think about what you could plant in their place. And that would be marigolds, any of your, salvias, monarda, which is like a bee balm, any of your warmer weather plants, vinca, and things like that. And if you want to put in like caladiums, which are good for shady areas, but caladiums and like some of your lilies that require warmer weather, those are really good to start putting in now. And, your warm season herbs, your basil, your oregano. We have some mint that I kind of started, and those are really good to get in there. I've already put out most of my actual, I put out my MicroLife, what we might call a fertilizer. It's a slow release product. So I've already spread that. But you're coming to where you need to get that done. If you haven't done it yet, keep up with your weeds. Maybe you'll find a protected spot for your house plants to sort of move outside to get energy from the sun. But you do want to protect them. You don't want them to sunburn and stuff like that. The best thing for a garden is the farmer's shadow.
What is the farmer's shadow?
The farmer's shadow. It means that get out there in your garden, peek under the leaves, look at the stems. If there's a problem that's going to come up, catch it really early and do some research what you could do about it. Okay. And so far this year, it's been paying off.
You're a farmer shadower, right?
I'm really liking it.
I've never heard that term before in my life. Thank you. That's a good one.
That's all I have.
That's all you have
this week.
All right. Well, thanks, Mary. As always, thank you guys for joining us here, and we hope you join us next week here, same time, same place. Mary,
happy gardening.
Happy gardening to everyone, and we'll see you next time right here at Mary Bird's Backyard
Garden.
Thank you.